How to get into fifth position of the feet in ballet. I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to get into fifth. If you can, watch the entire video because I'm also going to talk about turnout, the dreaded turnout. So I'm going to give you some extra tips on how you can either inhibit or enhance your hip rotation by how you work from fifth and how you step into fifth. Without further ado, here's what not to do. So what that does, with your pelvis tilted, and especially if you're on a plie, when you turn your feet out from here and then straighten up, you're turning out from your feet first, which puts a lot of pressure on your ankles and other lower leg joints. So rather than your feet instigating the turnout, your hip rotation, your turnout from your hips should instigate the turnout of your feet. I'm going to talk a bit about the pelvis. So nobody has a perfectly straight pelvis, although in ballet we do strive for those lines or the toaster look. But ideally the pelvis needs to sit in more of a neutral position. So think of dropping the tailbone down, not tucking or tilting, but dropping the tailbone down, and you can fluctuate a bit from there. So while you're in fifth, drop the tailbone down and you can rotate from there and then slightly release and rotate and release and rotate and release. So you don't tuck or tilt way back or lock the pelvis into one position and work from there. Otherwise, you're inhibiting your hip rotation. You won't get the most out of your hips. They say your turnout is set by the age of 12. I think you can make minor adjustments after that. So by tucking and locking or not using here correctly or stepping into fifth incorrectly from the start will inhibit the rotation you already have. So it's all about getting the most out of your hips with what you already have, and efficiency as well. The other thing you can do is, I was taught by one teacher who wanted us to almost have our bodies a bit forward, and then we can scoop the pelvis, not tuck, but rather than up here, our bodies could shift forward a bit, which gave the pelvis room to lengthen up. You could then lengthen your hips and then scoop a bit, which allowed for more turnout. So things looked a bit here rather than here. You can play around with that as well. So what I want you to do is practice getting into fifth position with everything already in place or straight. So you can step into fifth and tilt a bit, not like I said before, from here and then snap the pelvis back in. That will do harm, and it isn't turning out from the right place first. But you can step in and do a bit of a tilt. You can pop the front heel off. Make sure you put it back down, turned out even more. Don't put it back down where it was, put it back down a bit more turned out, even if it's just a millimetre. You can do that and then get everything into place, but practice getting everything into place first. So while you're standing there, lengthen here, drop the tailbone down, think of rotating while you're just standing there, then step into fifth with everything already there, and don't break the line at all. Don't release at all. The pelvis will give a bit, like what I was talking about before, so you can release a bit or drop the tailbone down, but get there and keep it going from there. Then you can optimize other things without breaking the line. It's more efficient and you'll get more out of your rotation, and you can start to work on other things while you're there and you'll be more ready. That's number one. First and foremost, posture, hips instigating the turnout of the feet, and practice getting into fifth with everything already in place. Then you can optimize other things. If you have to tilt just a bit, and definitely don't do it from here and snap the pelvis back in. So, number two, practice getting into fifth while keeping the head up. I have a tendency to do this or look down, then up. Practice getting into fifth with the head already up or keeping it up. And then you can turn and look to the side. If you look down as you get into fifth, again, it breaks that line. You tend to do this. And also when you're on stage, you don't have time to look down. You just have to be there. So it's good practice for that. Now, if you are going to look down, step into fifth and make sure everything is already straight first before you look down. And keep your weight forward from the backs of the legs and look down from there so that you aren't going whoop. Number three, in ballet, we don't step with the heels first, then the toes. Maybe in a character role like Capelia, you may do this, but usually it's toes, heels, same as when you're working from fifth, you aren't back on your heels. When you land from a jump, it's toe heels. So think of stepping into fifth as though you're landing from a jump. So toe heel, toe heel, toe heel, toe heel, toe heel, toe heel. And again, with everything already in place, it's more efficient, toe heel, toe heel. Keep the head up. Then you do send your weight through all of your feet, but you can take both of your heels off, so do a small quarter rise and then lower them back down even further turned out. both heels together, everything together, then lower them further down in front, and that will work everything nicely. But then keep the weight going through all of your feet. So that brings me to the next thing. You still do have to plant your weight through all of your feet, but not back on your heels. There's weight over your toes, but still through your heels as you work. You have to use the floor. Number 4, in my intro, you may have seen me slam my legs into fifth. Sometimes you have to get into fifth any way you can. There's no time, and it's like, ugh. But try to close your legs in with resistance. So I'll go over everything I've explained so far. Place everything first, line everything up, keep the head up, toe heel, and now we are here on our supporting leg, and you can close the front leg in to fifth. However, think of the back leg joining to the front leg. So from here, join the back leg to the front leg, even though I've just closed my front leg in. It will help as you shift your weight in exercises, as well as if you're dancing on a raked stage and you have to do piqué turns up a hill, you really need that efficiency. You can close the back leg in too. Both work fine. It doesn't matter if it's the front or the back, although I do think the front is better to practice with because it gets you to work things more, I would say, or work the right things. So it's all about efficiency. You want to get there and to not be moving too much, and you want to get to fifth and keep optimizing things so that you can be there looking ready and even better. And then people will be drawn in to watch you because there's that moment of stillness rather than, okay, I'm in fifth, oh, yep, okay, yep, great. And you may miss the start of the exercise. So it's all about efficiency and looking ready and continuing to grow while you're there as well. So for number 5, I'll get into some artistic qualities. Once you step into fifth, think of your neck continuing to grow. And also, as we step into fifth, or as we do any step, we have a tendency to bunch our shoulders up or tense up a bit because we are putting load through the body. Instead, think of the shoulders going out and down as you step into fifth. And once you're there, they continue to go out and down. So you achieve an even longer line. These are things you can work on yourself and find these things to do because that's the art of it. So 5 things altogether. I hope that helps. Bye.